reveal the top 5 as things stand here in mid-November now. We usually start from number 5 and move up.
I know. I feel like this is a game show.
It should be a game. There should be sound effects and and I've said we really should have a ladder.
No ladder. But we do have some shakeup.
Okay.
In the top 5 this week, which is nice. Nice to see some new faces. Number 5. Tell me if you thought you'd ever say this last year. Pascal Siakam of the Toronto Raptors checks in at number 5 for his first time ever in my memory of him being on the MVP ladder.
I can't imagine he's ever been in it before.
No. I mean, we're talking about the reigning most improved player in the league.
Yep.
Now he's made that leap to trying to become a legitimate MVP candidate. No one knew what to expect from Toronto without Kawhi Leonard. Siakam has been unbelievable, playing high energy on both ends of the floor, averaging 27 points a game, which, again, unheard of. This is a guy who averaged 7 points a game 3 years ago.
It's a lot to ask from him, right?
Yes.
I mean, in Kawhi's absence, the defense was there, and he's part of a really good defensive scheme for Toronto. They've been great this week on the road.
What we saw from him in the finals has carried over dramatically, which is very good to see from a young player like that.
All right, I have no issue with this. This is fun. Pascal Siakam, number 5. All right, number 4.
Number 4. Always on the MVP ladder, your status as a team affects whoever might be the catalyst driving that. And to me, is there any doubt how good Kemba Walker has been for the Boston Celtics? Everybody wondered, what happened to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown last year? They just didn't seem the same as they were from that playoff series the year before. Here they are now playing off of Kemba, all 3 guys playing at an extremely high level. You can't say enough about the character of Kemba Walker. And Stan mentioned it, having those guys together in the summer, with USA Basketball was invaluable in terms of just getting to know each other. I asked Kemba what his impressions were of those young guys. He was in love with the work ethic and the drive and the grind of these kids. He called them kids. He's been in the league 8 years. He's called them kids. Right. But I think it speaks to how important that bond is, Matt, when you're trying to integrate this kind of guy into your mix. Already an established team, but lifts those other guys up along with playing extremely well himself.
And I don't mean this as a knock on Kyrie Irving, but he himself has said he wasn't entirely present last year with this team. You thought coming in that Kemba would be a locker room upgrade, and it's shown up on the floor. They've got the best record in the league, and normally that means, as you said, you're going to have an MVP candidate.
Yep.
You've got one
what
right
you
there.
are.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, you might remember this guy. He's been in the MVP conversation quite often the past few years. James Harden. Mr. Scoring Machine himself.
I voted for him 3 times now.
Did he win any of those times?
He won one of them.
Yeah. Not bad. Harden has been James Harden, and really an advanced version of the guy we've seen the past few years. If he continues to chase that 40-point scoring average this year, then we're talking about a situation where how do you keep him out of that top 2 or 3 mix in the MVP conversation all year long? Because nobody else in the league or of his generation is scoring like that. And we're saying that when Kevin Durant, Steph Curry have been in the league while he's been cooking like this, and nobody scores like James Harden. A tailor-made system for him, obviously, in Houston and the way they run things. But having to share some of that with Russell Westbrook this year has not affected him at all. He's still playing lights out like he has been.
Up over 38 points a game now. And I know there are folks who don't like the way the Rockets play, maybe don't even enjoy watching the Rockets play.
He doesn't care.
You can't argue the effectiveness.
No, and he doesn't care.
He drives that engine. He's the reason they win at the rate that they win. All right, number 2.
Number 2, we're familiar with this guy. Already has a few of these Maurice Podoloff trophies hanging around the house somewhere. LeBron James. The Lakers have not let up one bit. And I think as much as we'd like to poke the LeBron voodoo doll last year when they were down and he finally had that injury that kept him from being the LeBron we're used to, he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
35, which he'll turn 35 next month. Apparently that is the new 21 because LeBron looks like young LeBron. You're watching him dominate games, not only with his mind, but physically still able to play the game at an elite level.
Defensive activity we haven't seen in years out of LeBron.
Kyle Kuzma didn't have to push him anymore.
Right. All right, so that leaves number 1, and I think I know where you're going here, but it's your job to reveal it.
Yes, Giannis is not going anywhere, and I think last year after he won his first MVP, he told everybody, don't call me MVP again until I win another one. Well, apparently he likes the name. He's definitely trying to win another one. He's driving this Bucks team now with Chris Middleton out. You just watch how effective Giannis is on or off the ball, whether he's got the ball in his hands or not. The other night we saw him diving to the rim and catching passes or, taking 2 steps and dunking. I don't know that there's a really ideal way to stop Giannis in a regular season context because you can't load up and prepare for him 3-4 games in a row. You're dealing with him one night. How do you deal with a guy with that size, length, and that athleticism and ability to get up and down the floor if you only have a day, sometimes to prepare for him?
Right.
It's just an unbelievably tough matchup for every team in the league, whether you have a Kawhi Leonard type defender on your roster or not. It's just very difficult to try and figure him out when you only have maybe a day to prepare.
And this guy has already done what this guy would love to do, and that's win Most Improved Player and then become the MVP of the league.
Listen, that to me, when you start looking at the trajectory of some of these guys and where they fit, we didn't see Giannis 3-4 years ago as an MVP candidate. We just thought this guy's got a chance to be an all-star. Then he has a breakthrough. And now he's at that point where can he win 3 or 4 MVPs? And does he win a championship?
And he still has upside.
And there's so much growth. I think it's interesting to see the difference. The young guys on this list and then an old guy like LeBron, no offense to LeBron, but having, those generational, gaps on the MVP ladder. And we're missing some people, obviously. Steph, Kevin Durant. These guys are not in the mix right now, but certainly the present, the past, and the future all here on this list this week.
Whose fans complain most vociferously about either a player's rank or their absence on your list?
Luka Doncic.
Oh.
And they have been consistent and personal, but I don't get upset about it because I understand why they're so passionate about their guy. He's playing great, but his team is not
phenomenal, yeah.
His team is not playing at the level that any of these guys' teams
not winning at that rate.
No, and that's a huge part of that.
Absolutely, it's
there
part
are
of the
pieces
vote
to this
for almost everybody.
You have to have the components in place to even compete, let alone win one. Luka has all the personal components. Now his team's got to be able to play at a higher level.
These complaints coming from Texas or Slovenia?
Both.
Okay.
Both. All over the globe, actually. But you know what? I love it. That means people are reading. That means they're watching. And that's what we're here for.
I like that people are mad at you all over the place.
At home, at work. It's
in Europe.
Everywhere.
In North America. See,
in the studio.
Do you hear that? They're not booing. They're saying, Sekou.
Yeah, right.
That's what that is.
Right.
All right, there you have it. The MVP ladder available to you every Friday on NBA.com. On the other side, James Harden at it again tonight. Indiana Pacers, you're up next. How do you stop this guy? Stan Van Gundy with some thoughts on your best shot, at least, when we come back.